Today is 26 January 2024. We will have a conversation very fast, quite simple, quite clear, considering that I'm suffering interference and it's illicit interference at least since 2014. We did an effort to preserve ourselves, and to do this we must put ourselves against the criminal use of power. We will have in mind something quite clear, refreshing our memory. Different sides with internal motivation will be noticed by the way you carry yourself. Indeed, it's a theory named behaviorism, and this behavior and the social psychology will be exposed also at the pattern of activity inside your organization. Some complain by lack of will, but indeed has the will, but for criminal purpose or a contrary sense as motivation, considering the regular things. We will have something here which is the no difference between different sides, but all at the same situation. If you corrupted the Republicans and the Democrats and both notice as corrupted, indeed you are putting everybody under the same kind of observation and treatment, and this allow to get the Smurf as a scam, considering that the criminal practice we face as illicit interference complained indeed observe everything you do at real time, sometimes breaking our privacy, our private living, stealing data, hurting interests, and having everything collected, switched for criminal purpose or used to do the optimization of criminal purpose. In the very beginning, if we complain the offender, the complaint will help the offenders at the department backing, covering or hiding the criminal activity to optimize this. Since we didn't complain anymore, the object complained get an entry in our space to collect the issues, even reading the private diary, for instance. It's on blog the idea, the risk report, the Smurf scam. We could observe that the period you notice inside the space allow you to put the period out and observe the different sides, indeed both corrupted. This model will put the corrupted area under the observation, for instance, of the institutional power as judicial power or justice, a system of justice applying any kind of consequence or constraint. And we will have in mind that inside this, by the problems that didn't had properly troubleshooted, indeed you had a system of indulgence, for instance, which was observed in the very beginning of the Middle Age, in the low Middle Age, I think, or the high Middle Age, in the period more obscure, I think that was in the higher Middle Age. We will have that the Smurfing such the architecture of privilege and exploitation of prestige, similar to the Middle Age and also at the show business. The idea of this model is quite simple. We will have the conversation and finish the issue. I will have at first 1 up to n as channels inside the department. Someone will place the people considering the broken windows that didn't got fixed, and they will get chairs, for instance, at your company or at the public department as a linear thing. Then they will, by exploitation of prestige, ranking the position inside setting this scam here until get the domain as power to do the decision inside the department or the office or the architecture of power. Projected, you have this in the same way as offshore business, which will lead to offshore business as new entry at the market, ranking the position, for instance, as a hidden investor that in general got crossed with counter objects like cryptocurrency and others. Then we will check that since they got the power, they will set the attraction and do the exploitation as influence or something like this. For instance, if an exploited artist it's about to be kicked off the show business or the mainstream, will be exploited at this to have a survival strategy, I would say, or attempt at the mainstream, and will be the attraction. For instance, I have the first notation positioned as channel, getting the power will make the entries as a second person of related with by loyalty or that you entrust, and then we'll move to the second head distributed at this with relations made or relational association as possibility, and after got the position as hierarchical position will be associated with as the first cluster under the domain that was positioned as line until get the column, I would say, as hierarchical position. And this will be repeated and will give us the idea as something like this, quite simple to get. I will have the first situation as distribution of all as lines, I would say. And then we will have the segmentation here. I will purchase number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Considering the Nobel Prizes are some billions, I'd say. Then we'll check that they will be now distributed as position 1, and the 1 will have a period linked with. Then we will have the second position, which is the 1 and the number 2, also with the possibility as period linked with, considering the new period associated with the number 2, or the previous period associated with, and in this moment we'll set the possibility as 1 period and 2 period, or period 1, and then guess what, we can do the permutation here. We are observing that is reported right here. It's the Smurf scam, a trust scam unveiled from Ponzi architecture, considering the budget, the hiring process, or the contract to do, the possibility to be at the stage or the mainstream or whatever, and multi-level association as workflow, setting the drivers and the interest to carry the people along with this criminal purpose, as the nowadays looks like that is the attempt to obtain the indulgence, because the judges are always linked with the criminal activity, for do the decision, for do the conviction, or to offer a privilege, legally offered as plea bargain or illegal by advantage, and in general things that they can present by themselves at the court or at the tax examination that any citizen must be under, this kind of activity. And multi-level on workflow with permutations. In the way we had, we will finish here. Wish you a great weekend. The scam is not unveiled, but you consider that it is. Keep complaining and do the complaint. But since you made a complaint against this effort, you must be under the same treatment at this effort, which was, we did the open data to the judicial power or whatever having the case. And if the criminal system has the use of the intelligence at the private living, or we have a concurrency follow-up of my private life, or we have the dripped information from the instance, I would say, or segment that was required and requested by me to do the follow-up and forecast of my life, right? While data taxa, working for real.